unless something weird happens, but I think we should be all right.
All right, cool. I think the same because everything was smooth last
Cool.
week. So,
Awesome, man. I guess
all right,
shoot me a text or let me know otherwise.
sounds good. We'll do that.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Hey guys. Oh, I'm fine. Yeah, I don't know. I know. All right. It's launched. It's live. I'll get some water. They have this little thing that says starting soon. They just come in. No, it's on me. Yeah. I can go tap too. The tap is the yummiest tap water I've ever had. Mango taste. No, like disgusting. We could. I mean, Sydney said it's fine. Like it's not gonna bad for you, but disgusting. Only gross. All right, guys. Yeah, don't feel free to, I'll let you know. But you guys can like. Yeah. I have my mic on my thing. This table's awesome. Really like it. All right. All right. How's everyone doing? Welcome to our feedback sessions. About to pop it off. My name is Atropolis. I'm an instructor here at 343 Labs, and I'm an Ableton Certified Trainer. You can join us every Saturday at this time at 1 p.m. I'll be giving feedback sessions for free from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. So I'll be posted up, waiting for everyone to get into the chat. Check your mic. Okay. All right. Well, let's see what's going on. That's not good. Guess the mic isn't working. We got some issues with the microphone. Let's just see if we can get going on this microphone. It is working. Thank you, Abe. Thanks for letting me know. All right, so waiting for the chat to stack up. Let me actually manage Google account. Let me just change. Give me 1 second, guys. So, okay, so yes, you guys can submit your tracks to Atropolis at 343labs.com. And once I start getting some music, we'll start doing some feedback. I'm about to log into the Facebook feed to see where everyone is coming in. trying to change my channel. Here we go. And here we go. Hey, what's up, Tony? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining us. Tony is an OG student of mine from the good golden eras of dubspot. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, we're gonna let the chat roll in. You guys can email your tracks to Atropolis at 343labs.com. Right now, I'm just trying to get my YouTube login changed. I'm trying to switch my account. So when I chat with you guys, you'll know what's going on. Here we go. Awesome. So now I am, oops, here we go. Cancel. Okay. So I'm about to get in the chat so you guys can see what's going on. Create the channel. Okay. All right. Okay. Hello. All right, putting the email in below. So Tony, if you got something you want to get some feedback on, that's the email you guys are going to send it to. I'm trying to see who's in the chat, who's joining us right now. We got feedback sessions going on for the next hour. So if you got a friend who is looking for an ear, let them know. Have them come email the track. It doesn't matter if you're using GarageBand, Ableton Live, Logic, Pro Tools, whatever it may be. You're just going to send the SoundCloud link and MP3. We'll take a listen and we'll get back to you. So that's what's popping off. Tony, I see you in the chat. Abe, I see you in the chat. Atropolis at 343labs.com. Tony, if you hear me, let me know. I would love to hear what you got going on with your music productions. And we'll just be posted up waiting for some submissions to roll in. So I'll be browsing back and forth. And if you are watching this and you are joining us for the first time, we are stepping into some feedback sessions. We got free, awesome knowledge every day on our channels, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. So make sure to subscribe and check out 343 Labs. And if you want to go deeper, you want to go harder, you want to get some one-on-one, some virtual classes, collaborate with some other students, have some more intimate time with your teachers, you're probably going to want to go to 343labs.com and check out what immersive programs we got going on. We've got a school in Berlin now, and our New York City location is opening as of this week. So if you're feeling comfortable, you should definitely check out our physical classes. And we got some awesome virtual classes, all taught by the amazing staff here, including myself. So a little quiet here today. Hopefully we get some folks coming in here. DJ Tony Islands, looking at you, man. I'm hoping you're going to send something. I got some submissions right now, but these are from my students in my class that I'm teaching, and I do not see them in here, so we'll get those later. All right. Feedback sessions. Just gonna hold tight and see what's happening. So I'm gonna put it in the chat. Yes, send your tracks to Atropolis at 343 Labs. Awesome. Yeah, so when we get into these feedback sessions, and for those of you guys who are hanging out, waiting for this to kick off, again, we're not going to get started until we got some music to work with. So please submit your tracks. And you can see the email, atropolis@343labs.com. But when you're thinking about feedback, how do you want to categorize it? How do you want to break things down? And I was talking about this in the last session, last Saturday, things that I look for. So we'll think about arrangement, the bigger picture stuff, how the whole song is working. Arrangement's sometimes one of the more challenging things to wrap your mind around, especially in the process when we're like learning and understanding the role of each section when it's first born, making sure everything's flowing nicely. So arrangement. Mixing. How is the balance of your different elements? Is your kick too loud? Is your bass too loud? Where are the vocals? Can you cut off some bass? Is there anything in your high frequencies around 4K that are piercing? How's the leveling? How's your compression? How's your time-based effects? And if you are in this chat and you are getting into music production, one thing that I will stress in these feedback sessions, I would say mostly every submission comes back with this feedback, which is a lot of the times we get too excited with our reverbs and our delays, whether the tails are too long, the dry wet's too much, or we're simply not EQing our reverbs properly. Time-based effects I find to be one of the main things that clutter a mix in the beginning because we get so excited. Hey, what's going on, Sonia? Great. I'm so glad you are joining us today. I think you know the drills. So just having a little conversation of when you're giving feedback or when you're thinking about your own track or listening to someone else's track, the different categories you want to break it into. So talking about arrangement, we're talking about mixing, sound design. You know, how is everything coming together? How is the selection of sounds? How is your ingredients? Is that bass round enough? Is the pluck plucky enough? Is the kick hitting hard enough? Is it the right snare? The right snare can make or break an entire track. So I'll think about sound design. Those would be three really solid points to start off with, right? Arrangement, mixing, sound design. I would start there. There's a lot of other things we can break into. Mixing can go into a lot of different components. Arrangement can go a lot of different components in terms of your phrasing, in terms of energy, in terms of your transitions. So, hey, all right. Oh, yeah. We all are. Don't feel ashamed. We love reverb. You know, you can make a really dull, boring sound amazing by slapping some reverb on it. So how can we say, yeah, I salute this. I salute Abe Duque. I would say arrangement is for me too, and I would vouch to share that common experience with arrangement for artists and even teachers. It's a very hard thing to teach arrangement because, I mean, in terms of arrangement in the process of you making a new track, talking about arrangement and analyzing a song from an artist that you really like, a little bit more straightforward, but talking about your components in your song and how you're putting them together and how everything's working and how it all comes together, it's hard. What section should come first? Is this long enough? Is this short enough? Should this transition be one beat or one bar? There's so many decisions that have to be made. So to answer Abe's question, and I stress this tremendously, I think there's an overwhelming amount of details to get into when it comes to music production. And one of the biggest things that stump us is, where do we start? Like, how do we start a song? So to answer Abe's question, for me, in my experience, I like to say, all right, you need 4 to 8 bars. You need 4 to 8 bars. And if you can feel good with that 4 to 8 bar idea, whatever it is. If it's a drum beat with something, chord progression, a cool sound, a lead, a vocal sample, an acapella, whatever it may be. If you got something in 4 to 8 bars that makes you excited, that's the beginning. And now you have to take this piece and learn how to create variations. So that's how I start off with my arrangement. I start off with this kernel of an idea, and then through my variations of either changing the octave or using the same melodic ideas, if it's a melody, and changing the synthesizer to develop the tonality of it. Or maybe I add layers. Maybe I have one instrument playing the line an octave, another synth playing the line an octave lower, some strings playing the line. How can I thicken it up? So that would be a starting point. I think if you, through time, and I know it's a lot easier said than done, these are things that we go really deep with in our classes at 343labs.com to check them out in terms of our courses that we have. We spend a lot of time talking about these things, and we're talking about it right now, but I just letting you know it's pretty big. So I can't, we're not pulling up Ableton screen right now. This is a feedback session, but simple to let you know, get that 4 to 8 bar idea, create as much movement from that 3 to 4, make that 4 to 8 bar idea. Can you make it 3.5 minutes? The average song's around 75 bars, the average song. Okay, we're not talking about techno. So how do you take that simple idea and make it cohesive? And once you learn how to take that simple idea and stretch it out, arrangement will start to kind of make some sense. All right, I see the Google Drive. Tony, we just need MP3s. Okay, so I guess let me see what you sent. Another tip for arrangement before, let me go see what we got lined up. Cool, we got some people lined up. We got 1, 2, 3, 3, possibly 4 people lined up. My last tip of arrangement, one of the best helpful things that has helped me when I was coming up with arrangement, like how does it work? Bring in your favorite music production track from your favorite artist, bring it into your software, whatever it is, and analyze it. Make sure it's on the tempo, make sure it's on the grid. Why? Because you want to see the measures, you want to count the bars, you want to see where things are coming in, you want to see where things are coming out. So if you feel like arrangement is one of these really big, scary things, which it is, there are some really awesome things, exercises that you can do on your own. And that's just analyzing one of your favorite artists' tracks. And then what you could do is take that structure and take out the track and start laying your track and start following their changes every 8 bars. Maybe the first 8 bars just has a kick and a snare. The second 8 bars, kick, snare, bass. The last bar of that last 16 bar phrase that's broken into 8 and 8 probably is going to have some kind of variation on that last bar. All right, so pretty heavy. Yes, exactly. That's the thing, it's so deep. Like we get into it in our Ableton courses. And then, of course, when we get into our songwriting, it's a huge process as well. Arrangement is a big conversation. And I would say one of the harder conversations, not the hardest conversation, because it's dealing with the whole picture, the whole everything, from start to finish, all the elements. All right, let's switch it over. We got some people lined up. First come, first serve, as always. So we got Sonia Maria lined up. Let's see what we got. Yes, cool. Thanks for the kind words. Let's see what we got. Here's a track you updated. Awesome. Let's see what we have going on. And also, at the meantime, before I kick off with Sonia's track, I do... Yes, Tony, you're good. I got the 9 Loco 1. I see that as an AIF file. Let's see. Let me just make sure. I just want to make sure I'm getting stuff lined up. Got that one. Great. Okay. So we're going to start off. Let me just get my emails lined up properly. All right. Okay, here we go. The Andalusian. Yeah, working on it. All right, we got Sonia. She's been coming in and treating us with her really fresh style, really fresh. I'm really big fan of Sonia's productions. Thank you for sharing this stuff. So we're excited to hear what you've improved or what you've added and changed since we last listened to this. I'm gonna hit play. Hopefully everything comes in smoothly. Please let me know, folks on the chat on YouTube. I guess Abe is with us today, which is awesome. Just let me know if the audio's not coming through. So here we go. Let me just double check it on my end. Yeah, I think we should be okay. Here we go. All right. Having a bit of an issue right now, guys. Give me a second. Okay. So the issue was the live feed. When I participate with the conversation, I'm watching the YouTube feed, and for some reason, the audio of me talking was playing, and it was very confusing. And it was actually playing from my message chat box. So let me just double check this audio. There we go. Okay, so I got to grab the YouTube link and get my face back on here. Cool. Great, let's do this and let's go. Here we go. Okay. Wow. Really, really nice. Not sure. The piano part is fitting. Thinking of replacing it completely. The bass is already set. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I definitely would have to listen to the. I do remember the track, and I don't know. I feel like the mix, it feels like you've done some stuff to the mix as well. I know you said you just added the piano, but things are sounding cleaner. Things sound like they're in their place. I'm just reading the chat. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So mix wise, everything I didn't hear. I think the mix has improved. I don't know if you worked on it, but it does sound really nice. And I didn't feel the need. I didn't hear any instance where I felt like sidechaining. You needed more of it. I like the piano. There were parts where I felt like you were pushing the envelope or wanting to have heavy syncopation, which I love. But some of the piano parts I felt could have been a little tighter. The quantization, or not the quantization, I wouldn't say quantize it. I'm just saying that some of the syncopated feelings were pushed. Yeah, great. Yeah, I feel like it's just way cleaner. How do you feel? I hope you're happy. Yeah, it's really clean. Like it feels a lot more bouncy. I just feel all the elements way more. It's got more of a vibe to it. Now, prior to listening to this, Abe Duque, who is one of the head instructors at 343 Labs, we were having a conversation about arrangement and how it's one of the most challenging aspects. One, as a teacher, talking about arrangement can be very challenging. Getting into the idea of it, how it works. Sometimes arrangement's just one of those things you gotta get your hands dirty. You gotta get busy. You just gotta work with it. Similar feedback to the last time, it is in reference to the arrangement. And in the aspect of these listening sessions, I can't go too intimately with pulling up the track and going back to it. These are things I want to re-listen to. So that's another thing why arrangement is so hard. It takes time. It takes close listening and time to understand. And the thing that I kind of want to go back to is similar to, I believe, the thing that was that I was giving feedback last time. And let me just go back to the track. So right around here, I remember last time I was recommending if we could try to define this section a little bit more, or at least define the arrival of that section. I mean, this is a very kind of ebb and flow track where all the section is just kind of flowing into each other, and there's a certain beauty about that, and you could by all means just keep that going. But there's just something about past this point, and it's like, it could be very minor. It could just be a little drum fill or white noise sweep as things start to pick up here. I wish I can feel the ride. And the piano part that you've added definitely helps develop. And I really actually like the way the piano's role is playing into it. It seems you're a little uneasy or unsure about it. You can take my advice, but ultimately you should decide whether or not you want the piano based on how you feel, not based on how someone else feels. I do believe the piano helps bring the momentum going forward. I was suggesting that something should happen here, and I felt like it felt a little wondrous. But there is something about, like, basically the second half of the song that I feel like it's kind of just going. So that would be it. Mix improved upon. The piano is working. Can you just set up this section and maybe these transitions, just subtle things. I'm asking for very minor things. I don't want to stress you. I'm not asking for big things. I'm asking for like either taking out a drum. Sometimes I like to cut on the third beat before the change for some silence, some little fill from that bar. Whatever last bar is transitioning from here to here and maybe from here to here. But again, I would want to re-listen to it to really sink into that and to understand it. So, Sonia, thank you. I think you've elevated this track. You took the notes that we got into and have nailed each of those points tremendously. So I hope you're excited. This track is it's improving, and it sounds great. So keep going with that. Leo, I see you in the mix. We're gonna move on to the next track. Leo, you are next. So yes, I got your stuff. Oh, okay. Yes, you can submit your track. So send it. Atropolis. You already emailed me. Atropolis. And is this Leo? Is this the Leo from Greece or is this another Leo? Is this you, Leo from Greece that I taught? I don't know. I don't remember your last name. Yes. All right. Well, for now, we're going to go. Leo, you can fly it in when you can, but we got to keep it moving. So submit it when you can. Tony Islands is up next. Give me a second, guys. Let me flip this back. Oops. Sorry, guys. There we go. So should have been on this screen for the feedback, but it's okay. All right. Going to grab Tony's track. Tony Islands in the house. We got it on our QuickTime. And then let me see. So we got Tony Islands, DJ Tony Islands coming in. Leo, get something if you can, and then Lewis. And that might be all we got for today. So DJ Tony Islands coming in with 9 local 1. I'm gonna hit play, flip the screen, and let's take a listen. Awesome. Thank you, Tony. Tony Island, DJ Tony Island's in the house, coming through with 9 Local 1. Let me flip it back. I'll keep the screen on for now. And Andrew Duke, sorry, man, I was just cruising. I find what you're asking, I'll talk about the question. I don't know if I'll get to share anything, but I'll talk about your question. So, and also what you're talking about with endless possibilities. But first, DJ Tony Island submitting, coming through with this track. And I guess, you know what? Let me flip it. It's too many things going on here. So, cool. Yeah. Tony, let's start with you. Do you have anything you want to ask us? I always like to ask whoever's submitting, if they have specific points they want us to, whatever it may be. And awesome, Leo, I'm glad you're joining us. Great to see you. Okay. So, Tony, there were some things. Well, first off, I do want to reflect on your growth as a producer from when I first started working with you in my classroom. What is that, like 3-4 years ago? Tony Islands came through to DovSpot and took the full program. So I'm really happy to hear what you've been up to, because I can see the growth that you've from when you started in our classroom to now. So really enjoy the progress of your sound. And I know you're working with a lot of hardware. So I was curious about the production in terms of some of the loops that you're using, or some of the ways you're bringing in things. One of the feedbacks I want to talk about is towards the end, your vocal sample, I think, can come down a little bit. The song flows, everything's flowing, and it has a good progression, and you have defined sections. So we started off this conversation talking about like the different categories of giving feedback: arrangement, mixing, sound design are really big ones, and then all the many subcategories underneath that. So let's talk about it in terms of those. Mix wise, it's there, it's working, but I do feel like it's a little cluttered. And I think we can clean up a little bit in the low end. I think you can get a little bit more side chaining going on. I felt like the kicks could be a little stronger, although, for the style of music that it is, there is a urgency or a tendency for me to want a more pronounced kick. But there was something about me liking the aesthetic of the mix, where the kick, it wasn't your typical kick. I mean, it's there, but I feel like, for what this track is, I feel like it could punch a little bit more. So you might want to think about some sidechain compression. And if you're already using it, maybe to increase it. How to increase it? Well, maybe increase your ratio, maybe drop your threshold, look at your release. Definitely the attack, but the release can be a big one. You might want to slow down the release a little bit. Arrangement wise, I think it's good in the sense that you have different sections, and you get from the start to the finish, and you go through these different movements and the things coming in and out in a really natural way. And I like how the energy just keeps on going and going and going. But similar to Sonia, I kind of think you need some little guidance, just little guiding tools between your different sections. Whether it's a little drum fill or a filter sweep or cutting something out before that next section comes in, rather than just adding a new sample or a new layer. So I think the arrangement could be sharpened a little bit in terms of how it builds and in terms of how your transitions are moving from point A to point B. Tony, do you have any questions? Specific questions? So mix-wise, clean up the low ends. Your low ends, I would say across the board, get some side chain compression going on for your kicks and the other elements. Arrangement-wise, I think the transitions from each section can be defined a little bit more. Sound design-wise, I'm a fan. I like the way you're using those drum breaks. You got some acid synths coming in. I'm digging the overall sounds. I dig all the different synths that are coming in. I feel like the bass, in terms of sound design, this also crosses into the world of mixing. I feel like your bass could be improved upon a little bit. I think the low end could be improved upon a little bit. So Tony Islands, we're going to wrap it up from that. I hope that helps. Thank you for sharing. Thanks for joining us. It's good to see you in the chat, man. So I hope that feedback is helpful. Okay, we got Lewis, we got Leo, and Mishpa. So we are likely we'll get through all of them. Let's see how we do. Lewis, I'm sorry, it's actually Leo who's next. He submitted a track before, but he had to resend it. Leo, it's good to see you, man. We're good to see your name in a chat. Okay, Leo, your track is not working. It says the track is not found or maybe has been removed. You might want to reshare if it's a private link. You're probably going to have to resend it. So try to do that. All right, let's go to Lewis. Here we go. Lewis, are you with us? I haven't seen Lewis in the chat. Lewis, are you with us? All right. Well, Lewis, if you're with us, here we go. Thank you, Lewis. Thanks for sharing your track. Congrats. This is your first track. That's amazing. Really nice. Really nice track. Well, congrats on making your first track and getting it up there and sharing it, and reaching out to a community to get some feedback to improve upon your skills. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm digging the whole aqua theme. I love water samples myself. Um, and it's cool. I don't know if I guess, yeah, Sonia's here, and Tony Islands. I don't know if you guys are still here. There are things I want to talk about in terms of the critiques I was giving on the previous two tracks when it comes to the arrangement and setting up the different sections and guiding us. Lewis, I would say you're doing a good job with that. I like it's the ideas are flowing, the sections are. I like the way you're bringing things in and out. You had a really nice little white noise sweep in the beginning that had a nice guiding effect to it. So I felt like the way you were setting up your sections had a nice flow to it. Now, things that I'm curious about. Well, the biggest thing I would say the mix, which is always going to be, especially in the beginning, um, because just like music production, mixing is another skill. So mixing is also when you start music production, you're also beginning at mixing. So mix wise, your kick is too muddy. Um, it's yeah, you gotta EQ your kick. Okay, there's a lot of low cutting across the board. And if you joined us a couple weeks ago, Sonia, who joined us, she had a similar thing. A lot of folks do. This has been probably the most common feedback that I give everyone is that they need to clean up their low end. Sonia came back this week, cleaned up her low end, and her track it just opened up the entire thing. So this track's got a lot of vibe to it. You know, it's got a lot of really nice elements, and all just get high pass filter or um, a high pass filter or a low cut, more or less the same. Oh, ay, ay, ay. Okay. All of that. Talking so much. Yeah, I lower the microphone so when I'm listening to the song, you guys can't hear whatever's going on. So let's start over, and we're running a little bit behind time, so there's a chance we might not get to the remainder of this, but we'll see. So let's rewind. The first compliment I was giving Lewis was I liked, in terms of the arrangement, the way you were transitioning and setting up each of your sections was really nice. You had some white noise. The way you dropped out the kick, I felt the arrangement had a nice flow to it. There was one area I do want to talk about that I felt interested in terms of the arrangement and the way it's flowing, but we'll circle back to that. I was getting into mixing. I was saying that you're sharing with us this is your first track. Well, if you're new to music production, guess what? You're new to mixing. They're both skill sets. So your mix, where you need help with the mix is you need to clean up the low end. The kick was very muddy. So get a high pass filter. Either get your EQ8 or the auto filter and locate your high pass filter. You need to calm down the lows across the board, okay? And I was sharing Sonia, who was, if you were with us when we listened to Sonia's track, she had a similar area of her frequencies that she had to clean up. This is a common critique that I give a lot on this feedback session and in my classrooms. Sonia went, she cleaned up her track, and it really opened it up. So you'd be surprised how much some low cutting can do. So Leo, try that out. The mix was a little too muddy. In terms of the sound design, you had some really cool use of the water. I really like the guitar string kind of melody you had. I think the sound design is pretty good. I think the mixing on your sound design will help improve it. It was in the very beginning, right around here, where it did feel a little too wondrous. I like how you're playing with your harmony, where you're not quite, you're playing more with dissonance. I don't know if if you're intentionally doing that, or just doing it naturally by your ear. But I felt there was just a real little wondrous thing where it felt like a little too unsure for me. And it was at the very beginning. It's on a very short moment. And it was maybe just how the notes are coming together. But just in the very opening section, in the first, I'm putting my mouse. Oh, you don't see this right now. Hold on. So, sorry. Here we go. So right around here, a little wondrous. I think it could have been a little tighter. So mix-wise, I think mixing area is going to be where it's going to help this track really kind of breathe a bit more. And then that area with the arrangement, I felt was a little wondrous, but overall I think the arrangement is doing well. Sound design wise, I like the choice. The kick was a little too muffled, and I'm not gonna say it's the wrong kick. I would first try to mix the kick first, but there's a chance the kick might have to be reconsidered. So I think once you get in there to the mix, the sounds that you selected are gonna come to light a little bit more. All right, let's see what we got. We have let me change this. Let's go over here. Okay. Leo, let's get you in. We got potentially 2 more. I can't guarantee we'll get to both, but let's try to work as fast as we can, depending on the length of the track. So there's a chance we might not get to the last one, but we'll try. All right, let's kick it off. 3.
all that we lost in time. Come back to me, come back to me. Our love will carry on. Come back to me, come back to me. And you'll always be mine. My summer boy.
All right, all right. Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you, Leo. It's a real pleasure to see what you got cooking up. Aha, yeah, yes. Okay, yeah. I'm dialing it into the chat right now. Obviously, that was be the first thing I knew once I flipped to the chat that those vocals were probably too raw. So that's fine. Yeah, got to clean those things up, get them in the mix. They're obviously way out of the mix, and peaking and clipping. That clipping is dangerous. Leo, is that clipping in the audio? Because if it is, there's really no way you can get rid of it. She's going to have to redo it. But if that clipping is in how you mixed it, of course you can fix it. But it sounded like that's how it was recorded. Track is awesome. Arrangement is strong. The mix is pretty good. I was really happy with the mix for the most part, but it's a little cluttered towards the end too. I would say it's a little cluttered towards the end where it's just the instrumental jam. Where you have that final instrumental jam is where I feel like the mix, where the lows really start to reveal themselves, where the vocals drop out. I feel like in that moment, like the kick, I'm talking about the last section with the mix in the last section, I feel like the kick should be strong and more present. I feel like maybe if you have it, increase your side chaining a little bit more. But I think cleaning up the low ends across the board would be good, especially on that last bit. I think your kick and your bass are a little too, they're just fighting with each other. And there's just a little too much, even with the stints, maybe the arpeggiated parts, you'd be surprised. So try to clean up the low ends, especially in the last section, and try to get that kick to cut through, especially in the last section, because that last section, I think it could hit harder. That's the final hurrah of the song, and it's finally the vocals are out, everything's jamming, there's a little bit more space to work with because the voice isn't there. I think your rhythm section could be stronger and hit harder. So get those vocals in that middle section. It's in the audio. Oof. Yeah, I figured definitely. It's not in the audio. Okay, my bad. Okay, yeah. So just pull it down. And then also the rhythm. Get back to me, whatever Summer Boy. I forget what the little ad libs are. During that breakdown section where the vocals are super raw. I have a hard time saying that word. The rhythm of the vocals, I don't know. It felt like, I think you're going to work in that section and get it tight. But in regards to the mix, that section should rock a little bit hard at the very end. Overall, I thought the mix was pretty strong. The arrangement's pretty strong. Really nice track, man. I'm really happy to hear your music and hear what you're doing a year later. So thank you for sharing and joining us. Okay, so I want to move on from that. Leo, I hope that helps. We are going to wrap it up, but I am going to extend the time a bit. And Mishba, if you're still with us, I hope you are. I hope Mishba's here because we're going to go over a little bit for Mishba to get some feedback, and then we're going to wrap it up for today. So before I do, Leo, Sonia, DJ Tony Islands, Lewis, guys, thank you so much for sharing your tracks. Get it, thank you. Get it out there. We're going to be here every Saturday, so tell your friends about it. It's a great time to just come hang out, listen to some music, and see what we got going on. So, yes, you're here. All right, dope. Let's get this going. Hold on. Cool. Just about ready to rock. Gonna hit play. What do you guys see? All right, let's flip it. You're going to see me for a second. I'm going to hit play, and then we go. There is a chance, Mishpa, that you sent me a track. Maybe you soloed something on the export. I'm just going to double check it real quick. If there is an issue, unfortunately, we're not going to have time to address it. But it might be on my end, so let me just see real quick. Yep. Okay. So sorry, Mishpa. Unfortunately, you sent a track. This happens. You might have hit solo. You might have muted something, but you sent me a blank file. So unfortunately, we do not have time to troubleshoot that. Wait, let me double check. Hold on. Yep, so no dice there, Mishpa. Unfortunately, you sent me an empty file. And that's something I've been guilty of that. I've definitely, not guilty. We make mistakes. And just a heads up to everybody, when you're sharing your music, always double check your file. You never know. So, Mishpa, if you can join us next Saturday, I apologize for that. We ran out of time and just don't have much more to wait for the re-export of that. But resend it, and if you want to join us next week, we can do that. So everyone, doing this every Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Atropolis, 343labs.com. Check us out. We're doing this stuff every day, whether it's information about theory or techno or hardware or feedback sessions. And we got virtual classes, 343labs.com. Online. We got a school in Berlin. Our New York City school is just opening. I'm Atropolis. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you so much for those of you who are consistently coming and supporting this community and sharing your music. So I'll see you guys next week. All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks again for hanging out with 343 Labs. We're going to be signing off.